Howdy folks, and welcome to the Hillbilly Kitchen. Today we're making a super easy 2-ingredient chocolate mousse. Now this would be really good if you need a quick dessert for a dinner for two, or maybe you want something kind of elegant for a dinner party. You're having a couple friends over. What we're doing today is for 2 people, but you can double it or triple it or whatever you need. And you don't want big servings of this because it's pretty rich. You just need a half a cup of cold, does need to be cold, and your bowl needs to be cold, heavy whipping cream, and about 1/4 cup of some kind of chocolate. Now, different kinds of chocolates are going to give you different flavors. You can use milk chocolate, you can use semi-sweet chocolate, or you can use dark chocolate. Starting with the milk chocolate, you get a slightly sweeter, creamier dessert, and as you go up, it gets richer and more chocolatey and less sweet. So this is not super sweet, but it is super rich. I kind of like to go in the middle. If you've watched my videos before, you know I like to go in the middle. And I do the semi-sweet, and that's what I have today, 1/4 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, and it was kind of a heaping 1/4 cup. And I'm melting them. I just have some boiling water here, or hot water, and I put them in a cup and set them down in there. You can melt your chocolate chips in a microwave or in a double boiler or whatever. And then, of course, I've got my heavy cream in a bowl here that is chilled. First thing you do is whip your cream. Okay, you want to whip your cream until you have peaks, you know, when it's stiff like whipped cream. And while you're doing that, if you're using the hot water method here to melt your chocolate should be about melted. Now make sure it's completely melted, and you might have to stir it a little bit if you've put it down in hot water like I've done. If you melt it in the microwave, be very, very careful, because only 1/4 cup of chocolate, it's going to melt quickly. And milk chocolate melts quicker than semi-sweet, and semi-sweet, of course, quicker than dark because of how hard the chocolate is. But if you overheat your chocolate in the microwave, it is going to be lumpy, and it's going to separate, and it's going to be unusable. So, you know, like maybe turn it on for a minute, maybe even 30 seconds, depending on your microwave, and then check it after 10 to 15 seconds and stir it every time you turn it back on. This is the safest way to do it, especially if you're doing a small batch like this, is to melt it with the hot water, because you're not going to overheat that. And you can see there it's all melted. There's no lumps left. That's what you want. You don't need it super runny. Just get it where there's no lumps. And then we're just going to add our chocolate into our whipped cream and whip that. Now, if you wanted this sweeter, you could add, maybe a tablespoon or so of powdered sugar. You could also add about half a teaspoon of vanilla to it. You know, that's all optional. And sometimes I add the vanilla. I don't usually add the powdered sugar to this because this is not supposed to be super, super sweet. It's supposed to be super rich and super chocolatey. And you just mix that until it's mixed up. Now, we don't have to do anything else to this, nothing whatsoever. But since we're kind of doing something elegant, if you want to pipe it in some cute little dessert cups, just put it in a bag with a star tip in it, you know, kind of a big one, and then pipe it in your cute little dessert cups. And that does make it a little more elegant. And like, I've got a little bit of whipped cream in here, you know, that was on the side of the bowl that I didn't really take the time to mix back in. Leave that, because it adds some color streaks in it when you pipe it into your dessert bowls, and it kind of makes it prettier. Or you don't have to leave it. I don't care. It's your dessert. Now, you could serve this with some fresh fruit if you wanted to. You know, garnish it with some strawberries, blueberries, cherries. Chocolate and strawberries or chocolate and cherries are both extremely good together. Chocolate and blueberries are good together. Chocolate and anything's good together. Like I said, super simple, 2 ingredients. You can mix it, you know, in your stand mixer. If you were making a whole bunch, you could use any kind of hand mixer. I just happen to like this little Hamilton Beach hand mixer blender thing, and it is honestly what I use to mix almost everything I make, especially whipped cream. And normally I would whip that cream in a mason jar. Get you some quart mason jars for making stuff like this. It makes it so much easier, and because the jar is high, it doesn't fling it all over. And you can see some little splatters on my countertop here. If you mix it in a mason jar, it won't fling it around. And you can even melt the chocolate in a mason jar. That mason jars work great for stuff like that. Or even save your spaghetti jars. The spaghetti sauce jars, they work for that, or anything like that. You can say pickle jars, whatever. Glass jars just work really good for that, and they're easy to chill. So that's the money saving tip of the day there. Save some jars. Glass jars work great, and it saves the messy cleanup. Keep this, give it a try. Like I said, it's not super sweet. It's very rich. It's elegant. You can dust it with a little cocoa powder, put some shaved chocolate on it. Put a big strawberry on the edge of it, just one, just to kind of dress it up. Anything like that. It is really, really good. And I know it's not like the long method of making mousse, but the flavor is very close. And you don't get any easier than 2 ingredients. Shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. You do want to refrigerate it though. Probably refrigerate it for a couple of hours before you serve it. So make this and then make your dinner. Before we go, I want to leave you with Matthew 18:15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his faults between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. You know, I have seen more relationships, families, friendships, even churches split up because rather than go and talk to the person that you have a problem with, we tend to go talk to somebody else about it. And I know I am more than guilty of that. I don't want to hurt the person's feelings. I want to get somebody else's opinion about what I should do. But Jesus said, and this is Jesus' words, he said, don't do that. He said, don't tell everybody else about it. He said, go to that person and talk to them about it. Tell them what the problem is. Don't tell everybody else. And he said, if they hear you, you've gained that person. You've gained that brother. Whether it's a family member, whether it's a friend, whether it's that significant other person in your life, or whether it's a friend at church. And taking those kind of problems and sharing them with everybody in the church is the way a whole lot of churches split up. And it's the reason why a whole lot of churches are empty. And it's the reason why a whole lot of people have never gone back to church. They've went to church, they've got their feelings hurt, and they've left. It's the reason why those family members leave and don't speak, sometimes for years and sometimes for the rest of their lives. So rather than being afraid of hurting each other's feelings, go talk to that person. Pray about it first, give it to God, and go talk to them. Don't talk to everybody else because it only makes it worse. Jesus said so. And, you know, if you're going to listen to anybody, you ought to listen to him. I want to thank y'all so much for joining us again in the Hillbilly Kitchen. If you haven't already, please don't forget to click like and subscribe before you leave. Click the notification bell so you know when we're putting up a new video, and share all of our videos with your friends. Until next time, remember to put God first.